One day, Emperor Akbar was in a playful mood. He decided to test Birbal's wit. He called Birbal and said, "Birbal, I have a challenge for you. You must make me a statement that, when I hear it, will make me sad if I'm happy, and happy if I'm sad." Birbal smiled, knowing that Akbar was up to his usual tricks. But Birbal loved these challenges. He bowed and said, "Your Majesty, I accept your challenge." Birbal spent the next few days thinking. He pondered over countless ideas, but none seemed to fit the tricky challenge Akbar had set for him. Every time he thought he had the perfect statement, he realized it would only make Akbar laugh or frown, not both. One day, while sitting under a tree, Birbal saw a squirrel running up and down the tree. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Birbal knew exactly what to say to Akbar. He couldn't wait to go back to the palace. The next morning, Birbal stood in front of Akbar in the royal court. The courtiers were curious about what Birbal would say. They knew he always came up with something clever, but this time the challenge seemed almost impossible. Akbar, sitting on his throne, looked at Birbal with a mischievous smile and asked, "Birbal, have you thought of your statement?" Birbal nodded confidently. "Yes, Your Majesty, I have." Birbal cleared his throat and said, "This too shall pass." Akbar was confused at first. "What do you mean, Birbal?" Birbal explained, "Your Majesty, when you are happy and you hear this statement, you will be reminded that happiness is temporary and it will make you sad. But when you are sad and hear this, you will find comfort in knowing that sadness too is temporary and it will make you happy." The entire court fell silent, waiting for Akbar's response. Akbar thought about Birbal's words. Slowly, a smile appeared on his face, followed by a slight frown. The statement was so simple, yet so profound. Akbar laughed. "Birbal, you've done it again. You've not only made me think, but you've also managed to fulfill my challenge. I'm both happy and sad at the same time." Impressed by Birbal's wit, Akbar decided to reward him. He said, "Birbal, you have once again proven why you are my most trusted advisor. Ask for anything, and it shall be yours." Birbal, always humble, replied, "Your Majesty, your happiness is reward enough for me." Akbar, however, insisted, and finally Birbal accepted a small token of appreciation. After the court session, the other courtiers gathered and started whispering among themselves. They were jealous of Birbal's intelligence. One of the courtiers said, "Birbal always finds a way to impress the emperor, but surely he can't always be right. Let's find a way to trick him." The courtiers came up with a plan. They decided to ask Birbal a series of ridiculous questions, hoping to confuse him. The next day, one of the courtiers approached Birbal and asked, "Birbal, can you tell us how many stars are in the sky?" Birbal, without missing a beat, replied, "Yes, I can. But first you must count the number of hairs on your head, and then I will tell you the number of stars." The courtier was left speechless, and the other courtiers couldn't help but laugh. Realizing that their plan had failed, the courtiers decided to give up. They couldn't outsmart Birbal, no matter how hard they tried. One of them even joked, "If we continue like this, we'll just end up making fools of ourselves." Birbal, overhearing the comment, smiled and said, "You're wise to stop. Sometimes the best way to win is to know when to quit." And so, once again, Birbal had the last laugh. The courtiers learned a valuable lesson, that wit and wisdom cannot be beaten by jealousy and trickery. As for Akbar, he continued to treasure Birbal's advice, knowing that no challenge was too great for his clever advisor. And from that day on, whenever Akbar felt too happy or too sad, he would remember Birbal's words, "This too shall pass," and it always brought balance to his heart.